think of the game was when you played the move knight to h5. Could you let us understand why this moment was so critical for you?
Yeah, I guess in the opening, I was aware of this bishop e2 idea, but I couldn't remember the exact details. And around this point, I know that knight h5 is one of the common ideas. It's also why white very often with the bishop on f4 goes h3 to not lose this bishop, right? So I thought here knight h5 was maybe possible, and I had to calculate some lines, like for example I was thinking about knight e4 here, and I wanted to go bishop e7, bishop d6, bishop d6. And if knight d6 I go queen e7, I think.
What did you say?
Queen e7?
Queen e7? Mm-hmm.
Although maybe queen d2, rook d1 now that I see it. But okay, I can go knight f6. Rook d8 rook
d8?
d8, rook d1.
Which rook? ad1?
F d1 maybe.
fd1? And knight f6?
Although knight g5, yeah. Knight g5, knight d5, knight f5 is there.
Knight e5?
No, knight e5, knight f5 is a nice trick. No, I'm just calculating right now. I did not see it.
I'll give you the mouse to make the move.
Yeah, knight e5, knight f5 I meant, but maybe... Yeah, maybe he should have gone knight e4, bishop d6. Somehow in my...
Take the bishop.
Yeah, but then knight c5. Yeah, I thought like f4, queen c5, bishop d3, not so pleasant for me.
Is his mic
rook
working?
c1
I'm not sure I'm
first.
hearing you.
Yeah, bishop d3 or rook c1. I was not too sure about this structure. But yeah, bishop e7, bishop d6. Felt like during the game I calculated something, but yeah, I probably missed this queen d2, rook fd1 idea during the game. So I think it was the best idea, and I was already quite relieved when he played bishop g5. Because like basically bishop e7, knight e4. He could have had this position with the bishop on d6, and I was going to take on d6. So once I saw knight f6, I knew I should not be having any kind of troubles here.
You also spent a little bit of time once you played the move knight to h5. Could you take us through your thinking process? Were you surprised by this move? I don't think we're getting your mic, I'm sorry. No, it's not your fault, don't worry. Sorry, just one moment, please. I'm gonna give me a favor, keep talking to this. Now.
Oh.
Just talking to them. You can just talk. Just use that to talk.
I thought this is harmless, but this pawn structure. So I didn't play this, and I was hoping for take h6 and we'll go knight e4 and bishop h4. If g5, I have g4. I was betting on this variation. I think white is slightly better. I missed the bishop e7 actually. I thought white had stable advantage after exchange the bishop, but it's not the case. And this bishop very bad. If I take, he take knight d4. Maybe he can simply go back and take c5, bishop b7. And
maybe knight d4 also, just knight d4 I thought, but...
Which position?
After knight d4, instead of knight f6, knight d4. Yeah.
Knight f6, this position.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe... Also, I could start with g6. I don't know if that makes a difference, but...
So you opted for a different idea. here, and what did you feel was the result of this position? Did you feel it was just going to be more or less equal once he found this neutralizing plan?
After I take the knight and exchange the queen, it's kindly going to a very drawish endgame. Maybe this is the last try, bishop d3. He cannot take on f2. Looks good, but I have bishop h7 and queen d8. And this is winning for me. But this looks very small.
Is this microphone working now? I'm sorry, it is. Okay. So we know in these kinds of matches, the preparation is tremendous. Lot goes into trying to find some kind of small edge for white, or maybe even a more significant edge. How difficult has it been to do so in this match?
Sometimes my opening stage strategy worked quite well, and today I also prepared a lot. I was hoping for some advantage out of the opening, and he surprised me with bishop d6, and I thought this might be slight advantage, just a little bit, and yeah, he moved knight h5. Also was out of my calculation, and here I need to think. There are many moves on this position, and I choose the harmless one.
Are you satisfied with the way it's going now? Well, let's just be specific about this game. Getting a draw, he had an extra white going into the final 5 games. Satisfied with the result of this draw, this game, that it was a relatively comfortable draw going into the next 4 games?
Yeah, I mean, with black, I mean, obviously I'm up for a game with both colors, but with black, I mean, to get a solid draw like this, it's obviously a good result. But yeah, I mean, it's, as I said, like, it doesn't make nowadays white and black color doesn't make a huge difference. So it's just 4 more very interesting games to go. And about this game, I think the quality was high. Maybe somewhere I could have, maybe both could have improved at some point, but overall it was just a solid draw, which is very normal.
Let's follow up, though. It may be a solid draw that's very normal, but it's the 10th game of a 14-game match. Everybody's feeling the tension, all the fans and reporters and the like. How are you feeling knowing that these next 4, it's no longer a 14-game match, it's a 4-game match where any mistake could be disastrous?
Yeah, it's obviously getting closer and closer, but still the best approach is to play good games. Yeah, I mean, that's the only way that like good results can come, and that is what I'm trying to do.
Same for you before I open to the press. 4 games left. It's a 4-game match. It's a short run. You've been in matches, close matches. You were in a close match last time. How do you evaluate the tension level of the last 4 games, and how do you manage it?
Yeah, I have some experience playing 4 games match, especially last year when I had some match in Wenzhou, and I play against many world top players. Reduced to 4 games, so only 4 games.
What are the lessons you draw from those matches, or you don't want to say?
I usually lose the first game with white pieces, but luckily this time I have black pieces first.
All right, let's open up to the press, please. First question.
Michael Rahal, here as a Deputy Press Officer for FIDE. Question for Ding. Ding Liren, I noticed today a couple of Richard Rapport games in this specific line, so I wanted to know if he influenced your opening choice today in this opening, as he's played this before a couple of times.
It was my second idea. Yeah, bishop e4. Yeah.
Could you
Bishop
elaborate
e2.
a bit more?
Hmm?
Could you elaborate a bit more on the different ideas you had prepared for this game?
Apart from this line, I also prepared the other line.
Okay, thank you.
Harry Schark, Chess Magazine Carl, Germany. My question is to Ding. Today you hesitated before your first move. What was the reason for this hesitation?
Suddenly I realized it's the same to start with d4 or knight f3, because he will also go d5 if like the previous round, then I can transport to the game by playing d4.
They are from Chess Base India. My one question to both the players: with just 4 games remaining, do you think the value of each move is increasing in each game, and would that impact your risk-taking appetite for the remaining games?
Yeah, I mean it's obviously now a cost of one game is higher than it was maybe in the start or the few or a few games before, but yeah, I mean my approach and my goal is still the same, to play good games in every single game. And it's like, if you think about it, it's not that different, because also even though the cost of losing, for example, the first game is not that high, I would still not want to lose that game. So it's still that I just want to play good games and yeah, hope for the best.
Same to you? Cost of each move is high?
Yes, that means there's not so much room to make mistakes. Every lose will result in a very bad situation, and we need to be careful at every move.
Good evening, my name is Ahmed. I am on behalf of Kazakhstan Telegram channel Честно говоря, and we have a question to Ding. You have already become the first world champion from China and earned enough money. Where do you find your further motivation to play chess?
Because it's a title match that I want to defend it. Actually, I did not play so much during the last years, but this one is very important.
I'm Mike Klein with Chess.com. I've got a question for Grandmaster Gukesh. In pretty much every round, when Ding Liren travels back from the playing hall to the media center or to the press conference here, he's got one of his Grandmaster seconds with you. But you traveled with your father, who has had the benefit of engine analysis. And I'm curious if you've ever asked your father on the ride here about questions about the game or anything, because, you know, he's had the technology access. And so any discussions of chess with you and your father on the way here to the press conference and any of the rounds?
Not in too much detail, but if there are some important things, for example, the game that I was winning with black, yeah, I mean, I don't remember the number, but that game he told me, I mean, I didn't realize I was also losing at some point, so he told me in this car ride that I mean, I could have lost a piece in that crazy game. So yeah, some important details like that, but not in too much detail. Yeah.
Do you ever ask him a specific question, or does he offer it, or can you he's the first chess player you talk to, so.
Yeah, he would be happy to hear that he's a chess player.
He's following the games on the phone. I'm sure he understands what's going on.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, sometimes if I feel like something I want to know, I ask him, but in general, we don't talk too much about the game. Yeah.
Thanks for letting us know.
Charlize, on behalf of your fans on FIDE social media, this time from follower Curry Not Curry. What's the most unexpected or surprising thing you've learned about yourself in this championship?
I'm always the first one to arrive.
Um, I don't know. Like, I mean, I'm learning a lot about chess and with all the work that is going on in preparation for the match. But what I learn about myself, um, nothing new really, to be honest.
Hello, this is Supriya from Bangalore Chess Club. So this question is
I
for...
don't think we're quite hearing you.
Hello, this is Supriya from Bangalore Chess Club. So this question is for both the players. Did you anticipate before the start of WCC match that it will be a 5-5 draw by the end of the 10th round?
Did you think you'd be tied right now? 10 games, 5-5.
It's not a big surprise since we are very have not so much different in strengths. So 5-5 is also the game itself is some of the game are better for him and some of them are better or even winning for me. So it's a fair result so far.
I mean, I obviously like it's one of the possibilities that the match could be tied. It's it's not a huge surprise. Obviously, I was prepared for all kinds of scenarios. I was trailing, or he was. I mean, I was leading, or all these kind of scenarios. And one of the things that I thought about was, what if it's a close match deep into the match? And yeah, it's one of the scenarios I expected. And also, it's very normal considering modern chess and how difficult it is to win games.
And what is your risk appetite right now as the round increases? Like whether you opt for draw or you go for attack and win?
It depends on the position. We just try to make the best move in the position. If it means playing for a draw, or if it means playing for a win, it depends on the position. So, yeah.
Good evening, gentlemen. I'm Nemo on behalf of the Singaporean Chess Federation. A short view back to the past. 30 years ago, Bobby Fischer told us in chess, so much depends on opening theory and memorization is enormously powerful. It is really deadly, and that is why I don't like chess anymore. 30 years later, Garry Kasparov told us nowadays a 13-year-old would probably know more than Bobby Fischer would probably knew when he retired. They analyzed all the moves and prepared themselves on their computers. And Magnus Carlsen said after a tournament, I don't know which tournament, that his games are like homework. So question for both of you. Is chess today too reliant on computers and predetermined theory? Are you too much under effort, too much under pressure to come up with new ideas deeper and deeper into the opening? And what are your wishes for the future of chess in terms of engines, less or more?
Yeah, I mean, lot of players have shared this opinion, which makes sense. But for me, like I see it as a positive thing because, I mean, before the computers or before, how easily available all the resources are, there was few players who had some better technology or better they were able to have more seconds to help them and stuff like that. So it was not a level playing field, I think. And now because all these resources are easily available to all the players, chess is becoming more of a sport. Yeah, I mean it's everyone has the same resources, and you just have to find that little edge that will uh, help you stand out. So I think this is the way it should be. So yeah.
Of course, nowadays require a lot of open preparation. It's aim to get a game, not a theoretical draw. But the game was decided many times in the middle game or even in the end game, not just finished out of the opening. Still, your real strength matters when coming to after the opening. Also, even if you get nothing in the opening, if you can play like the engine, play with the most accurate way, you may also beat your opponent. Sometimes we over-evaluate the importance of the opening.
Thank you. Engines are not taking over. Got it. Thanks.
Hi, Prashant from Dopamine Media. My question is to the both of you. It seems that both of you are patiently waiting for your opponent to make a mistake and capitalize on that one chance. And your opponent making a mistake is not in your control. So when that wait turns endless, does it tempt you into considering newer ideas or riskier decisions, and thus increasing your chances of committing an error? So from here on, what would you prefer, to act or to react to what your opponent is doing?
Actually, I don't think the wait for mistakes is so it's so long. I mean, there are mistakes happening in every game, to be honest. So, like as we saw in the last few games, most of the last few games, that one of the sides had the advantage. So, I think we are both trying to outwit each other, and we both are making mistakes. We are both getting chances. So it's just about. I mean, obviously we have some strategy for this particular game or something like that, but mostly it's about just coming to the game, playing good moves, and in general it's hard in chess not to make mistakes. So yeah, mistakes, they happen how much you try not to make them. Yeah.
Every game we are hoping for create chances ourselves, not hoping our mistakes, the opponent made mistakes. Otherwise, we'll play some tricks, some lines which are not objectively good, but we can trick my opponent. So I think that's the way we play.
Hi, I'm Kyla, representing the local organizing committee, and my question goes to world champion Ding Liren. In last year's World Championship match, by game 10, there had already been 5 decisive games, which makes for 50% of decisive games. Right now, only 2 games have been decisive for 20%. Do you have any theories as to why last year's game saw more oscillations, more ups and downs?
Yeah, last year, yes, there are many decisive games. Many wins with white pieces, and yes, with white pieces, the player plays extremely well and provokes mistakes from the opponent. It can go the other way, since there are many games that could be decisive, but the end in draws.
Okay, thank you.
From Malayalam Anatama.
Please come closer to the microphone.
We know that both of you are into a little bit of philosophy. In life, there are, pleasant and unpleasant surprises. But in chess often it is often nasty surprises. So how do you cope up with when you initially in the initial part of the game when you meet with a nasty surprise? How do you react to that mentally? My question is for both of you.
I think since we've played lot of chess in like pretty much like half of the games we get surprised in the opening and the other half we surprise the opponent. So I think it's just that we have gotten used to it. Obviously, it's a bit different in a world championship because when you get surprised, it's the level of preparation is different than in other tournaments. But it's nothing new for a chess player to be surprised in the opening, and yeah, I guess it's just that we learn to deal with it with the experience.
Getting surprised at my last game shows I try to think and try to figure out what's going on this position and try to find the best answers. But this time, maybe I should have think for more time when he played knight h5. Yeah.
A few more questions?
Hello, Abhinav from US Chess. I have a question for both grandmasters. One of the joys of watching the youngest ever challenger is that it's exciting to see a top player come into his own. But the most interesting part is that compared to past world championships, you have relatively limited experience against each other, only a few classical games. What have you learned about your opponent that makes them distinct from other top players, given your extensive experience at the top?
My opponent is very young and can be said a newcomer to the top tournaments. So his rating progress is extremely quick in recent years. So, but in the past few encounters, I had very good results against him. But we can see this time he improved his score a little bit.
Yeah, I guess us not having played too many games before this match is because of my age. I mean, I got into the elite like just a couple of years back. So, but yeah, I mean the two classical games that we played, I was also a bit younger and weaker at that time. So now I think I've improved a bit. And what I learned about Ding from this match, it's that he's just a very strong player. Yeah.
Thank you both.
Hello everyone, Anastasia Karlovich for Grand Chess Tour and St. Louis Chess Club social media. I have a question for both players, and I would just want to say that of course I was following the match with a great interest. Thank you for your play. And my question is, what are the biggest challenges you faced so far after 10 games, over the board and off the board?
Biggest challenge over the board, I guess. I guess the first game was a challenge in many ways. Like, obviously, I was dealing. I mean, it can also be said off the board, but like I was dealing with some new nerves and just. I mean, the first game of World Championship is just a different experience. So that was quite a challenge. And also off the board, I think that was the game where I lost. So it can be said that was the challenge both. I mean, the biggest challenge both on and off the board. But I'm happy with how I handled it, and I think I found my rhythm after that. So yeah.
Over the board, I think I have to deal with the time trouble problem in the many black, especially black games, which are not so usual in my games. Off the board, maybe the length of the tournament it lasts 40 rounds. It's the longest match tournament which I have ever played. Also, memory some opening lines, which is quite challenging.
Thank you so much for your answers. Thank you.
Hello, Maria, for the chess streaming channel. The question might seem a bit silly for strong players out there on the internet, but it's very interesting for me and a lot of weaker players. Nowadays, as many times already said, the preparation with computer is so important, and we all spend so much with ChessBase and learning the lines. But it's an interesting fact that actually, Gukesh, you said many times in the interviews that you are much more maybe a classic approach player. You prefer discussions and maybe working with the physical board. That you don't spend so much on playing chess on the internet and spending time with computers. While Ding is the opposite. Even 10 years ago, he was throwing these enormously long lines with computer preparation and was working with computer already so much ahead of the rest of the field. Could you please tell how much time during the match and coming into the match you spend working with computer and how much on the physical board? And do you play practice games against your seconds on the board, or do you prefer to work with computer? Thank you. Maybe Dean can start.
Yes, I think it's a useful way to practice or to play the games on the physical board. Yes, when I did so, I think I improved a lot by this way of training. But coming here, yes, we need to be efficient. So most of the time I study and the lines on the computer. Only after the game I review the games with seconds on the board. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I do like playing training games with my team, and I like to train over the board when possible, but yeah, to cover most stuff you need to also spend. I mean, it's not easy to put back the position each time once you go through a line on the board. So most of the time I spend on computers, but whenever possible or whenever I feel like it, I do like to use the chessboard.
If the players may indulge me, one last question. It often happens that you have people in your camp who are there calming you down, maybe making jokes and the like. Is it ever a situation for you that you have to calm other people down? Like, you handle the pressure quite well. Is anybody in your camp freaking out a little bit and maybe a little nervous and you have to say, relax, everything is okay?
I think they are more close to the truth of the position. They can have the engines with the help, so they are more certain of what's going on of the game. So yeah, they knew what's going on. So they have the answers. Yes, I think we are the one who are not so uncertain of the outcome of the game.
In general, I don't freak out a lot, so I manage to remain calm. But obviously, when I'm feeling some kind of emotions, my team is there to support me. And yeah, I'm also sure for the team, watching the game and having no control of how the game will go, and also knowing how the position is, it'll be quite stressful. But I think they're doing quite well.
All right, thanks for that. Well, that concludes the post-game press conference. Game 11 is tomorrow at the same time, 5 p.m. in Singapore. Everyone have a good night.